Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. It is story time. Today I'm going to read from the True Stories category again. This first one I picked out seems kind of interesting by the title. It's called Lessons Learned from a Snake, a Cake, and an Apple by Jean V. Dixon. I don't remember the argument. It's the rage, frustration, blah, blah. I can't talk. I don't remember the argument. It's the rage, frustration, and anger I remember. 45 years later, I still have no clue why I was so angry with my mother. I do remember something, however. At 3 years old, revenge wasn't in my vocabulary, but it was in my heart. Outside on a sunny day, a slithering line of brown ripples through lush green grass, I found my perfect revenge, a garter snake. Even whispering the word snake is enough to make my mother shiver and screech. Racing to the door, up goes the nail slot, in goes the snake. I sit down and giggle. I wrap my arms around myself and giggle some more. I almost wet myself with delight. I'm so eager for my mother's coming fright. In my imagination, I see Mom walking, suddenly stopping, face turning white, mouth opening with a horrified howl. I would like to say I heard a scream. I would like to say my revenge was satisfied. I can't. Instead, I waited for the scream. Wait, wait, wait. Fast forward 10 years. Once again I'm waiting for my sister's fiancé to get out of the bathroom. He carefully brushes strands of hair forward to cover his bald spot. I watch him spray until his hair is a solid mat of fastious fibrous, studiously cemented to the crown of his head like a rooster's comb. Later I have the pleasure of watching him water ski, speedos several sizes too small, partially hidden by an overlapping stomach, dancing to the drumbeat thump of skis, hitting waves, varnished mat of hair flapping up and down in the breeze. To say I like Don would be like saying a person with a sensitive nose likes the smell of wet burlap bags. At dinner I notice Don shaking the pepper over his food, and I get an idea for payback. There on the table a single slice of birthday cake remains. I'll place a little girl and give that slice to Don, but I can't just give him plain vanilla cake. I have to spice it up. I lift the icing and add pepper. I even scoop out part of the cake and scoop in a teaspoon of pepper. Carefully I reassemble the cake. My brilliant altercations are barely noticeable. Innocence exuding from my face. I am an angel bearing a gift in my hands. I offer the cake to Don. He lifts a fork to his lips. I anticipate a cough, cake spewing across the table, Don's eyes watering from the strength of the spice. I wait, and wait, and wait. In the years past, I've often wondered if Don saw me doctoring his cake and decided to spoil my plan by showing absolutely no reaction at all. Or was he so used to pepper he never noticed additional seasoning? Or perhaps, like my mother, Don was wise enough to know that revenge, like pepper, is a disappointing dish. It's best not served at all. Let's go back to when I was 3 years old, sitting on the front porch, waiting for Mom to scream. Mom heard the bronze mail flap shut, crack. Looking into the hall, she sees it. Her first instinct is to scream, but my giggling gives me away immediately. If she screams, I'll learn to revile in revenge. If she berates me, well, all that will do is build a wall of anger between us. Mom steps over the snake, opens the hall closet, gets her broom, sweep, sweep, sweep down the stairs and out the back door. One reptile out the door, the other giggling on the front porch. Mom always said, things done in spite don't turn out right. I heard it often enough. Too bad I didn't hear it. I never learned from the hearing, so I had to learn it from the hurting. Let's go back in time. I'm not 3. I'm not 13. I'm 18 this time. Saturday morning tasks. My mind isn't on scouring the pans, wiping the sink, water pooling on the floor. Instead, I'm thinking of the dress I made my sister. Gel's difficult to buy clothes for. No waist, no hips. You could say she's not a woman of substance. Most things don't look good on her. Then there are her allergies. Only 100% cotton will do. I knew the dress was going to look good on her before she even slipped it over her head. It did. It looked more than good. Gel was gorgeous. I finished wiping the counters, grabbed the garbage, stepped down the stairs and out the back door. I lifted the lid to the garbage can, not concentrating on the task at hand. That gray-blue fabric sure did change Gel's blue eyes to bright blue. Gray-blue fabric. Gray-blue fabric. What is it doing in the garbage can? Drenched and dripping from my hands, the remains of Gel's beautiful blue dress, cut to pieces, soaked in salad dressing. My masterpiece! All my work, all my planning, all the hours away from TV and telephone working to make her beautiful. Why did she do it? Revenge. It had to be. Just another instance of getting back at Mom through me. My childish pranks, the snake, the cake, aren't such fun anymore. Revenge is a lovely apple if you overlook the worms. I am not 3 or 13, and I'm certainly not thin anymore. I still wrestle with rage, frustration, and anger. However, revenge isn't as tasty as it once was. Now I know the apple's sweet, but the worms silence your heart. You never get revenge, it gets you. Revenge, like a wormy apple, is best left on the ground. Amen. That is true. Revenge don't solve a thing, guys. This makes it worse and worse. And we're going to read one more. And this one is called If We Only Had a Tree. And it is also from the True Category section. And it'll be our last story for today. Most fairy tales begin once upon a time in a land far, far away. Well, this wasn't once upon a time, and it wasn't in a land far, far away, and it wasn't no fairy tale. It was 9 years ago in a blue house in rural Atlantic Canada, and unfortunately for me, it was very much true. Before I moved east, I had such high hopes of what life was going to be like after I graduated university with business degree. A better job, more money, so many things I could do for my son Michael. When I dreamt I didn't see castles in the clouds, instead I saw a boy on horseback, a vacation at a dude ranch. Tantalizing tender turkey piled high on a plate, money for entertaining, and beaux dancing, coaxing, singing, and sighing clouds, symphony season tickets. So I worked hard and finished my degree in 3 years, not 4. I had great grades and thought I would have no trouble getting a job. Well, it didn't work out that way. In my case, disappointment followed disappointment. After a few months, my bank balance was about as healthy as a hydrangea bush accidentally watered with hydrochloric acid. Any green that was there had been burnt, ashes blowing in a brisk breeze. Humiliation became complete in a gray office populated by gray frowning faces. Frost was on the ground outside. It felt a full 10 degrees colder inside. A number was called, and I was handed an application by the disapproving receptionist. Welfare was the only option if I wanted to feed my 10-year-old son. I didn't only feel I was a failure, I knew I was one. About as successful as Donald Trump's calm-over. I felt even worse just over a year later when I was still without work, and it was Christmas. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. My dream that year was of Christmases past, Christmases with tall trees, with flashing stars and white and bright-colored globes shining packages underneath, family and friends abounding at the table laden with plate after plate of steaming fresh food, laughter amidst the sounds of Christmas carols. Christmas as I had known it in the past. Yes, I did have a few meager presents for Michael. I had gone without eating for 3 weeks so that I had the money to buy him something. I had even taken the Christmas decorations out of their boxes and placed them carefully around the unheated living room. But one corner stood empty, and that emptiness seemed to represent my own failure and emptiness inside. I didn't have a Christmas tree. Now you may be saying to yourself, Christmas trees don't cost a lot of money. You can get a cheap one for only $10, but $10 meant 4 cartons of milk, and that was a fortune when you only had enough money in your food budget for 1 carton a month. Seeing my own breath fog in the cold of our living room, I burst into tears. Mom, Mom, what's wrong? All I wanted was a Christmas tree, just a little one. I even prayed that someone would give us one. It would feel like Christmas if we only had a tree. Mom, it's okay. Why don't you go lie down, have a nap? You'll feel better when you wake. I lay down, but I couldn't sleep. I twisted and tossed and turned, and I cried some more. But then I heard strange sounds from the other room. I thought about investigating, about seeing what Michael was up to, but I was too exhausted to get out of bed. I pulled the covers over my head and tried to pretend it was all a bad dream. I must have slept because I woke up 2 hours later. I stretched and then stumbled to the kitchen searching for a glass of water. I didn't make it to the kitchen because I saw tiny lights twinkling in the corner of the now dark living room. Behind me, Michael exclaimed, Mom, you don't have to cry anymore. We don't have a Christmas tree, but look, we have a Christmas plant. I rubbed my eyes to clear them, and I saw that while I had slept, Michael had strung tiny white lights on the tall green umbrella plant, and then he had placed Christmas ornaments on its outstretched stems. That Christmas I learned that Christmas isn't about Christmas trees and Christmas presents. It's about love. I didn't have money or a Christmas tree, but I had a loving son who cared for me, who loved me. Yes, Christmas is all about loving sons. The love of my son reminded me there's another loving son. Like my son, he cares for me, and he gives me of himself for me. No, this other son didn't give me a Christmas tree or a Christmas plant, but he gives to me a far greater gift, the forgiveness that brings hope and joy, regardless of the circumstances. My wish to you is that you'll learn from my lesson. You won't make the mistake I did and think that Christmas is all about Christmas trees. Instead, you'll remember my story that Christmas is all about the gift of the Son. That was a good one, you guys. That was really good. So I will stop there since this video is over 13 minutes. I'm sorry about that, guys. Those 2 stories was kind of long. I love you guys. Let's bring those souls to Jesus. And I will see you guys tomorrow, God willing. And I hope you guys have a rest of the day. Is a good day for the rest of you. And a good night. Hope you have a wonderful time. And don't forget to think about Jesus on this Good Friday. Bye, guys.